Hello, and welcome back to Making a Tabletop RPG in 30 days. As you can tell by the time down here, today's been a bit busy. So, um, still on day 3. We haven't passed midnight yet, so let's get this started. I'm gonna set a timer for myself. I'm gonna try to finish this in an hour. Today, I've not slept very well, and I'm kind of tired. So I'm not going to try to do anything too creative. So we're going to do some stuff that is maybe not too exciting. I figured since we started doing some stuff for starting equipment yesterday, maybe we do like an equipment list and maybe some rules for equipment, weapons specifically. So let's start that. Let's just make a new page. We'll call it equipment. I don't think we'll have a text box. I think we'll do like a... Can I get rid of you, please? Go away. There we go. That's a lot of rows. So look this for now. Don't think we need that many. Let's do like 4 maybe. We can do... We'll see how much space we actually need. Okay, so we have... Let's call this weapons, actually. So we start by... Maybe... How do we sort them? Let's go like dagger first. Oh god, no. No. Go away. We want to do this font. We want to do... So this isn't regular text. Maybe we do font 16. We can do it regular to make it look a little different. Obviously, these don't need to be this deep. Maybe this much. I can add more. And I think we want to change the centering to be more like this. Maybe? We'll see. Actually, for the top thing here, we'll just name them. Here's name. What other... maybe we want damage. We could do... maybe we only need 3 rows. And we called this... we could do all of those to be... Align center, maybe? Let's try that. We have dagger. Ugh. We won't align center. We'll align left and we'll center vertically. Okay, so I think I want randomized damage, which would be the value of a card. And if we were doing that, all weapons would do the same damage. So I think I want a modifier. So a weapon has a We'll actually add that to... Let's do this. Duplicate. Put this down here. Weapon rules. I'll probably just write some notes for now. When a weapon deals damage, it you flip a card and add its value to the weapon's damage modifier. Do we want to use face cards for something? Maybe they trigger like a weapon specific ability. I've not played the new version of D&D, but I know they have like special effects, like Vex and stuff, for different weapon types. Maybe we do an effect like that that is triggered on trump cards. If a face card. Trump cards is like a similar term or the same. I'm not actually sure. Well, we're using face card as a term. Ace card is flipped for damage. You may add the weapon's special effect. Something like that. May use the weapon's critical hit effect. Let's do that, and then we can just add some critical hit effect. For now, I'll take that down some of the weapons we have. We have sword. We have axe. We have spear. We have bow. Maybe we separate out the ranged weapons. We have scythe. I think these are the weapons we have at the moment. Let's go through real quick. We have knives instead of daggers. Do we have both? Do we want both? We have knives. I guess dagger is sort of a knife. Any light weapon. I think we'll change that term. Okay, we have knives, not daggers. We'll just switch that here. We have staves, so a staff. Then we have bow. We'll separate that out a bit. We'll actually put it way down here. So assuming you flip a card for damage, we want like a plus modifier basically here. What do we want then? Okay, which weapon should have... maybe we do +2, +2. Staff is like a low damage weapon, right? Might even be +0. We're just doing some stuff to start with. +3, +3. Let's do this for start. This doesn't need to be balanced at the moment. A bow would be like spear damage. Hmm. Hmm. What's the benefit of knife? It's a 100 weapon. I don't think we need to type that out. We can just type out the weapons that are two-handed. I believe English does this. Boop, boop, boop. This is also two-handed. Maybe we have... We'll have different ranges for weapons, obviously, but I think we'll just have bands of ranges for weapons. So this is a long-range weapon. These are all melee weapons. So a weapon is melee unless it has a long or medium range. We'll add throwing to these two. We will add... Did we want to have like fancy crit effects? Do we want to add that here? We could. I don't think there's space in typing out critical hit : ability. So either we do it in the listing for weapon rules that we'll put later on, or we do like a symbol. I don't really like symbol keynoting stuff. How do we want to do that then? We maybe we just put it down here. Okay, so throwing would be This weapon can be used for a ranged attack at how far away? Say 10 meters? Can you throw an axe 10 meters? That seems far. 10 meters? I mean, if you're trained, you can probably throw an axe 10 meters, hit something, and have it do damage. You can't do it at 20. I don't believe that. Not accurate. Do we want the knife to be throwable? I was thinking most characters who had knives would be more like the big, like, ritual style knives. Not like balanced throwing knives, but maybe we just add throwing to knives as well. Here's range. Um, you become disarmed. Yeah, you like you throw the weapon, you no longer hold the weapon. Seems cool. We could put this up to yeah. Let's do this. I'm not sure why I copy pasted that. I could have just typed this. Two-handed. Requires both hands to use. Simple, but it's worth typing it out. I was thinking, what would be a downside to a longbow? Which would be you can't use it in a turn where you move. Use this weapon in a turn you have. As an additional cost to use this weapon, you have to spend your movement action. So you can't run or walk and shoot with this. You have to like actually stand still and fire it because it's so long and clumsy. I think that makes sense. I don't think I want. I think I want you to be able to move and attack with the melee weapons though, because that's a pretty big downside to a melee weapon. If I added like a pike, I don't think pikes are used a lot in fantasy RPGs. I know they exist in like D&D, but I've never seen anyone actually equipped with one. I'd probably give it pike the clumsy role. And I think anything that has the word axe in it is an axe. Anything with the word sword is a sword. Anything with the word bow is a bow. I think that makes sense. Um, what's the benefit of a short bow over a um? Are you allowed to use this in combat, maybe? Or hmm. I'll have to think about that one. Let's do critical effects. We'll do knife, sword, axe, spear, scythe, staff, bow. Um, for a knife, I want it to be, let's say, armor piercing. You find like a chink in the armor. Armor piercing. For sword, maybe like a. What's the benefit of a sword? It's useful on defense because it's like a parrying weapon. It's a cutting and stabby weapon. Um, maybe maybe it is like a defense ability. Maybe, or I'll think on that one. For axes, axes are good against shields. They're sort of armor piercing. They have like very heavy weight on their actual thing. So maybe axes also. I'm not sure I want both of them to have armor piercing though. And the spear should all. Hmm. I know what I want scythe to be. Sweeping attack. Which will. Should this be on a separate page, maybe? Do we actually want this to be then? The benefits of spear could be range, I guess. This is like a pairing thing as well. I think this should be a defensive weapon. The bow? What's the. I mean, the main benefit of the bow is already that it's a ranged attack. Would be. What would be. It can't be like advantage damage or something from getting a headshot because you get the trigger of. Maybe it's just extra damage then. How much extra is too much extra? Like, bows are dangerous weapons, but they're not like They shouldn't do more than like great axe in damage, really. How about we drop these a bit? And we have their crit effect be like headshot or like weak spot, and have this be we're doing colon into colon, which is super ugly. I'm just doing this for now. Double the weapon's damage modifier. This attack. Okay. Leg sweep. Knock the opponent prone. Sweeping attack. Immediately. No. You may make a second attack against another character within range. I think we'll take armor piercing off this. And we'll go you may make another attack against the same target. I think that's cool. So it's like a scythe, but it's against a single target. Scythe needs to hit like multiples. Maybe we drop this damage down a little bit. Or not. Scythes are cool. For spear, we could give this armor piercing. I don't know what axis would be except for going through armor, really. How about we do this? Crushing. Reduce the target's armor value by 1 this fight. There we go. And this could be armor piercing. Ignore the opponent's armor. This attack. And then sword, I think I want a defensive ability. Maybe like a riposte thing. Hmm. You gain advantage against the next attack that target you until the start of your next turn. Let's do this for now. I think this is like simple. We can add some more stuff. This is like some cool basic stuff. We'll just do this. Short, medium, long. And we'll just type this out for ourselves. We'll have it be how long do we want this to be? I think short range is like 10. It's like 10 meters. That's basically what throwing is. And we'll have medium range be 20 meters? You can definitely be accurate with that short bow at 20 meters, I think. Let's do let's do this for now. So we have the rules written out for stuff like this. So a long range spell would be like 30 meters, and so it'd be like 30 squares on a grid. It's basically like infinite range. 30 squares is a lot. Maybe that's too much. Or maybe meter squares are too much. Because 20 squares on a square grid is pretty far. I kind of want the character's movement to be 10. Like in D&D, you typically move 6 squares. 10 squares is not that far off. It would be like it would be a 50 move character. We'll think about this. So 30 would be practically infinite for anything you play with a game board. But that also makes sense. Because the scale of those, you would be able to shoot a longbow. Like long bows shoot very far. Like 30 meters for a bow is like very short. Maybe we add some. This is like the optimal range, and if you attack further from that, maybe you have disadvantage on the attack. And at some point, it becomes so impossible, obviously, because you can shoot at like 100 meters with a longbow. I think. What's the range of a longbow? I'm gonna Google that off screen. A longbow, 150 to 200 meters was effective range. So it would be functionally like infinite range. Hmm. Yeah, standard range for like archer is apparently 20 to 40 yards, which is 18 to 37 meters. For like hunting and stuff. Which is basically this. Maybe we bump this up. And say you can fire at twice the range. When attacking. You can attack with range weapons at up to twice the normal range. But when you do so, you suffer disadvantage on the attack. Let's do this. We'll do light. We don't have a rule for light weapons, and not sure we want that term. We're probably changing off the classes. Maybe you say any like one-handed weapon or something. We also need armor. Um, do we? Let's just continue doing stuff like this. Uh, we'll do. What do we want armor to do? I don't think we want to add difficulty to hit. That never makes sense, really. I mean, it's sort of like you are hit, but you don't take damage in D&D. Because you're covered in armor. Because it adds to your AC, which makes you difficult to hit, but it means more like effectively hit, I suppose. So we could do that, or plain damage reduction, which makes more sense with how we've added armor piercing. So basically, maybe we tier it like this, so that light armor reduces damage by 1, medium by 2, and heavy armor reduces damage by 3. So it basically negates the damage bonuses, but you're still taking damage for every hit. So it's like you are long term more durable. So an attack would do say a flip on an average with a 10 scale, since it doesn't go. But it's still a 13 essentially because there's more 10s. So let's say average is what, 7. So a knife would do 8 damage. Is 1 damage reduction really impactful? Maybe we scale it up by 1. So light armor is 2. Medium armor is a 3 damage reduction. And heavy armor is -3. Let's just do light armor, medium armor, and we'll do heavy armor. Reduce any damage you take by 2. Reduce any damage you take by 3. Reduce any damage you take by 4. And you have disadvantage on stealth tests. Like, that's a pretty standard thing, I think. We could do this. I think this is, like, fine. We don't need armor to be very complicated. We just have that as, like, a thing. So some characters are a bit more tanky because they're wearing armor. Armor piercing is essentially extra damage against armor, but not always extra damage. So, so the spear sometimes has extra damage, but only when attacking armor. A bow just has extra damage whenever it gets the effect, even if the target has no armor. Yeah. And this, like, reduces the armor value. So if you're crushing heavy armor, it's basically reduced to medium armor. If you're crushing light armor, it only prevents 1 damage for the rest of the fight. You're basically, like, making it not safe anymore. That seems fine to me. You could have enemies that has, like, really large armor pools, maybe. But then you'd have to have, like, guaranteed armor crushing effects. Yeah, so we got started on this at least. This seems fine. We obviously want more abilities to these. Right now, there's no reason to use a sword, really, unless you want this, I suppose. Maybe these are, like, good enough reasons to decide which weapon to use when you have choices. Obviously, a lot of the classes are locked to specific ones. Oh, we need shields. Shield. Reaction. Reduce damage you would take from an attack by 1. So you have to spend your reaction if you have a shield, but you can just, like, block an extra damage every, like, turn. That seems okay. Won't make them, like, super important to have, but, like, yeah, it's, like, extra value. Do want different size of shields and stuff. I think we're overcomplicating it. It's not supposed to be an overly combat-centric game, so, like, very basic rules like this is probably better. Actually, I want to look at what our skill list looks like. I have no idea where it's ended up. Here. Yeah, this is fine. I think we might do navigation rules next session, so tomorrow. If I'm feeling inspired, I'm not feeling overly creative today. So I think I'll stick to, like, making simple stuff. Because I think we have to be pretty creative with how the traveling mechanics are going to work, because I actually want those to be pretty deep. So let's not overdo that. We want magical items and stuff. So we probably want rules for how to make magical weapons. But for that, we'd need a lot of like keyword abilities and stuff. So we're probably going to wait with that a bit until we have like a list of things established. We could start making stuff like that, I suppose. Like I said, I'm not feeling super creative today, so maybe I'll just do some basic stuff so I don't have to do it later. We're gonna do some conditions, I think. Because it's going to make it easier to make abilities later. You're just gonna keep this, and we can just change this. We'll do burning. We'll do poison. Because these are always interesting how to differentiate. I think we want burning as a numbered condition, so these can have different values. That would help differentiate them. Uh, at the start, let's say at the end, actually. End of your turn, you suffer damage equal to the value of this condition. Condition. Ignoring armor. Any character can use their action and or movement action. Any character can spend an action to reduce this condition by 1. Poison. Then reduce this condition by 1. So this actually ticks down on its own, and you can't really fix it. Obviously, there's going to be things like remove poison, just as burning. If you like cast a water spell or something, maybe just remove that. We'll do this for now. What other conditions do we want? I hate stunning conditions, so I don't think I want like stunned or paralyzed to even exist in the game as like game mechanics. I find them very frustrating. I do think we want something like dazed. And it's going to give you you have disadvantage on all tests until the start of until the end of your next turn. End of your next turn. And we can also do. I'm stealing some conditions from my other game, but the mechanics are going to work differently, so it's kind of fine if I think. Distracted. You have disadvantage on all tests until the start of your next turn. So this one pretty much only screws you over in like on like defense. And this one is more like it also makes your next turn worse. So distracted is like a less bad condition. We could do 10 minutes to make some more conditions. Well, what's important? Um, what type of magics do we want? Um, do we want to make magic today? I don't think we want to make magic today. Um, obviously, there's like a ton of conditions we could add. I'm not sure how much I want to because it's going to. I could have like bleeding conditions and stuff like that. Um, I don't think I want an injury table. Um, I don't think so. Hmm. I don't think I want that. It seems weird for the game, and I kind of like the idea that when you die, you are just sort of discorporated. You're sent back to your heaven. Um, so I don't really need a buffer since you already can't like perma die from death. So it's not actually that big of an issue. So I don't think I want an injury table. So stuff that is normally on an injury table we could have as regular conditions, such as broken limbs or um bleeding. But we're also like not living creatures technically. So maybe we have like weird stuff instead. Um what if you have like a condition that makes you like cut off from heaven? What would that be called then? Let me think. We could have something like soul locked. Uh, you cannot spend or sacrifice soul. And this would probably be a timed condition, so we don't have an end state here. It would last. It would say in the effect that applies it how long you are soul locked for. Or maybe it's like a location based thing where you're in like a null zone where you just cannot feel your god. That could be like cool. Um, I don't like this name, but we'll leave it for now. We could come up with something cooler. Um, I'm gonna write this as nullified instead for now. Um, I want like an anti-healing ability, I think. Um, what would that be called though? Like uh, you cannot restore health. Um, maybe we just write this for now. Um, I want. I was thinking of Bane, but I want Bane and Boon to be terms for buffs and debuffs because while everyone kind of knows what a buff and a debuff is, it doesn't sound very in setting, so I don't want to name them that. Players can obviously refer to them as whatever, but especially in written material, I kind of want it to not sound dumb. um, so do we want some positive conditions here, maybe? Um, I was thinking of having like a focus condition where you get advantage on the next test you make, but do we need to have that keyworded? Maybe those effects could just say you had advantage on the next test you make. It's like, I don't think it needs to be its own condition. Um, we could have stuff that discounts soul expenditure, maybe. What? What's our skill list again? Um, Obviously we could have just also add like standard stuff like invisibilities and haste type effects. Also, I notice I only have 4 minutes left, so maybe we don't try to make too much at the end here. Did I write down how healing works here? Yeah, you restore when you return to a haven. I think for next setting, in next session, we will probably try to do travel mechanics. That would be nice. Light armor, any weapons. Who did I say any light weapons on? I want to remove that. Did I already change that, maybe? Medium armor, shield, spear, swords, axes. Light armor. I have staves. Light armor, any weapons. I'll allow them shields as well. Here, any light weapon. Cool. Maybe we just wrap it up here. I'm not really feeling too creative today. So maybe we're just happy with the progress. We've added, like, well, technically 4 pages, but they're like half pages. But we've added like some stuff. We added some stuff we need for later. We added some space and some how to formulate conditions and stuff. We added some crit effects for weapons. So we're further incentivizes that the face cards are important. This could also be cool because we could add, obviously, when players are flipping cards against themselves for damage, you can have creatures have crit effects on face cards as well. So the face cards are not always good. They're good when you have them and bad when the opponent has them. And you could have like creature specific crit effects, which could be cool. We could make like a sample monster soon as well, just to see how that would look. Because I don't think we need to. Obviously, most non-humanoid creatures would not need a bunch of these skills. So I'm not sure how we do the stat blocks to make them look good. I think they have like a standardized modifier maybe, and some stuff that they're good at is like if a creature is extra sneaky, they could have like a small modifier to it. So the things I want to do next are sample creatures. I want to do, because I want the creature stat blocks. I want to make I want to do some stuff on the classes, I think, but I'm not entirely sure which direction I want to go with abilities yet. So I think I want to do the travel rules first, because I want a decent amount of the abilities to try into the travel rules. So if I have inspiration tomorrow, I will do the travel rules. Otherwise, I'll probably temp up some creature stat blocks. That means we can also test, do some math tests later. That might be off screen. I'm not sure that's interesting to watch. But yeah, I think I'll wrap it up here. It's almost midnight and it's a weekday, so I will get this posted, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the next daily episode of this. Uh, Thank you so much.